unfortunately, or intolerance. I know it came into your life when you were very young.
Yeah.
Probably into most Americans' lives.
Oh, I would think so. I would think so, because none of us were, that I remember, were original Americans, because our parents came from other countries. So that when we were 5 or 6 years old, or even as old as, I mean, at the age of 10 or 11, there were remarks, anti-tolerant remarks.
And I still see a couple of scars up here.
Yeah, well, you know, it was a kind of a neighborhood, but there were a lot of neighborhoods like that, and you defended yourself when it came to that.
Pete Hamill, the writer, said that you were the most investigated performer since John Wilkes Booth.
I know, it's true, you know, you think about it.
True or false? Is the singer in The Godfather you?
No way.
I was watching the Donahue show after the Doonesbury incident, and there was a lady in the audience who said, after the same old garbage was brought up again about links to organized crime, okay? And her response was, well, we all know that about Frank Sinatra. What's new about that? And I just wonder if there isn't some way, somehow, for my children and their children to beat that rap, because I'm sick of it.
Well, it can be done. It's not easily done, because it takes an effort to go to Washington and go into the library and ask for everything they have on me, particularly from the Freedom of Information Act. Go in and read everything they can, and they'll find that it's all a lie, because we've looked at everything. My people have. It's all there, black and white on paper. All they got to do is to investigate it and go find out there was never any truth to it. That I never had anything to do with anybody in that part of the world, that kind of world, or anything. I may have been introduced to people in nightclubs who own them and who hired us and that kind of thing, but I'm not alone there. Everybody in our business did the same thing.
Me too.
But true. But the fact that a woman says that means that she is either prejudiced or she's ignorant.
You've had some wonderful women in your life, starting with Grandma, maybe?
Yeah, my mother was a great influence on me, you know that. And she was, unlike your grandfather, who wanted me to get a formal education, become a civil engineer, which I really wanted to do for a while. My mother kept saying if he wants to go into music, that's where he should go into music. Recently in Washington, I was honored by the Italian-American members of the Congress. And I told them a story about Grandma, who was such a devout Democrat that once in a while, Grandpa and I would tease her, and we'd drop the word Republican, and she wouldn't cook. She just wouldn't cook dinner. Unfortunately, your grandfather was a great cook, so we would have our own dinner. But she was hysterical about that. But she was the force. She really was.
Can you be objective and tell me what kind of a father you are? Or is that too tough?
No,
I think you're a wonderful father.
Not too tough. No, I have been at times very lax in my duties as a father in the early days, because I was on the road all the time and away most of the time, and then right on top of that kind of lifestyle came the divorce from your mother, so that wasn't very good as being a father. But on the other hand, I always loved you 3 kids, and constantly, 24 hours a day, worried about you all the time, thought about you, wanted to do more things for you, but your mother would stop me every once in a while. She'd say, you're bored enough now, let's not do any more,
don't
because
spoil
you're going to spoil
the
them, and all that kind of jazz and whatnot. But I think objectively, that's the only way I can explain it. I love being a father and a grandfather. I wish there were more grandchildren.
I know you do.
You know, I mean, your sister and your brother.
They better get busy.
But they're still in the bullpen somewhere. They can't get them out of the bullpen.
Okay, now, how do you think Frankie and Tina and I have behaved as kids? How do we stack up?
The 3 of you were pretty good. I mean, seriously, you know, when you come from I think the world understands that if the children are born of a family whose name suddenly becomes nationwide known or even internationally known, it can cause a problem. It has in many families that we both know, and particularly in California, I'm talking about, or in New York, any part of show business. But I must say, in all honesty, for you and for Tina and Frankie, that you've never disappointed me. Neither of you have ever disappointed me. Nobody's been in any serious problems. Nothing like that. And I'm proud of that. I look at families and I think to myself, when I see something about a boy or a little girl or something where they just go astray, I begin to think about the parents and think to myself, boy, I'm lucky.
I know this is a tough question, very tough. But with all you've done in your life, what has meant the most to you?
That's a tough question. Too many important things to me. Too many important things. You, your sister, your brother, and also the fact that I was lucky enough to be successful in what I chose. Thirdly, I've got countless number of wonderful friends. As a matter of fact, whoever said that if a guy has one friend, he's lucky, one real friend, that's not true. I've got countless friends who are there whenever you pick up the phone. Or you don't have to pick up the phone sometimes. They call and say, how you doing? Haven't heard from you in a long time, that kind of thing. And I'm thankful for my being of good health. I'm thankful to my God for having looked after me all of these years that I've been around, and maybe keep me around a little longer.
A lot longer, please.
Yeah, well, you know.
One of my favorite albums was with Gordon Jenkins, was September of My Years.
Yeah, it was a pretty marvelous album, yeah.
That was the first time for me that I ever came face to face with the possibility of not having you with me.
Oh, well, that ain't never gonna happen. No, I'm gonna be around a long time. Don't worry about that. Oh, it's a long, long while from May to December, but the days grow short when you reach September.
You happy with that? I think you may have a future. Huh? You may have a future in this.
Isn't he just wonderful?
Yeah, well,
I'm
he certainly is
crazy
in
about
your
him.
eyes. Look at those eyes. We've got work to do today.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the no diet.